I found 5 Leica film cameras while thrifting one day. Taking this as a sign from God for the pure stroke of luck I just had, I decided to put everything that was digital into a box and shoot the next 30 days purely on film. I'm a digital photographer, so I knew this was going to be a real challenge. I've shot on film before, but the thing is, I've always had my digital camera with me. So I start off real nice and easy, load some Kodak Gold 200 into the mini zoom, and shoot an entire day with it. I dropped it off the same day to get it developed. I felt pretty good about that roll, so I started planning and scouting out my first photo shoot. I also wrote down different shots that I'd like because I didn't want to use my phone during the photo shoot to go purely analog. As I was doing this, I was coming up with justifications on why I should not continue on with the challenge. It's going to be expensive, it's going to take up more time, it's going to be harder, but seeing those as just purely excuses and not valid reasons to stop the challenge, I loaded more Kodak Gold 200 into the R4. The first shoot went incredibly well. It was a flower field with my girlfriend, and while I was shooting, I realized how fast I speed through shoots when I have my digital camera. As I basically had an infinite amount of space to store photos, I could fix almost anything in post. However, knowing I only had 36 shots, I stopped and walked looking around for good shots, thinking how the end result would be. I was much more in the moment and observing my surroundings than I'd ever been in a photo shoot. It was actually quite refreshing. The next day, I was planning on dropping my film off to get it developed. Now here's where I run into my first problem. Remember the Kodak Gold I got? Well, that was actually from my sister, who got it from our grandpa, and that film was expired, super expired. And I found this out when I got the scans back for my mini zoom. I was quite disappointed actually, but I decided to redo this photo shoot and I loaded in Portra 400 this time. And then I planned another shoot on the beach, in the desert, in the city. I went all in on film. I wasn't going to let one failure define the outcome that I envisioned at the beginning of the month. Yes, I totally could have thrown in the towel and said, well, that's why I don't shoot on film and that's why I've always hated it. But that was the whole point of the challenge in the first place. I knew I would be uncomfortable and I knew I was going to be challenged, but in that uncomfortable space is where I truly grew, not just as a creative, but as an individual.